Oystein from Borknagar. How's it going with you?
It's going brilliant, actually. Just now doing this evening, doing a lot of interviews and getting a lot of great feedback. And well, life is good.
So how's the new album doing now? Because it's coming out March 26th, so you're doing some promotional stuff with this.
Oh yeah, we are a lot of work. I mean, there's a lot of post studio work, so to speak. I mean, promotion and layout and yeah, interviews as I'm doing now, and we also currently actually working on a video for one of the songs on the album. So there is yeah, plenty enough to do, so to speak. So, but it's good. I mean, it's great work. It's I love the working like this with music and band and everything. So it's for me it's just a great thing basically.
Now, in your area of the world, would you say the metal scene in general is being healthy nowadays? Like resurgence of people on social media and stuff, listening to this type of music and stuff. Is it doing good?
Oh yeah, I mean it's has evolved quite a lot from the early '90s, so to speak, when I first started out with music and the whole metal extreme or black metal, call it whatever you want, but started back in the early '90s and it's more kind of professionalized somehow, and there's a lot of great bands going, and there's a lot of great musicians in Norway, and Norway is basically a small country, so everybody knows everybody and stuff like that. So it's a kind of small community basically, and it's very nice. And then I mean, also the media, the mainstream media in Norway is kind of quite some years ago actually started to kind of accept this extreme metal, and nowadays Keep of Collection play at the Grammy Awards. Thing in Norway and stuff like that, and we have this all these Grammys going and things like that. So it's kind of being recognized as real music. So that's a good thing. But it will always remain metal and kind of undergroundish, I guess.
In that sense, you did very good work. The whole scene in general is keeping very good, and this is good news. All over because with social media, the kids today are discovering new bands and classic bands that they never
Mm,
even heard of.
mm, mm. Yeah, also that's a huge difference from when I started out being in, doing music and stuff. I did this old school tape trading and, sending cassettes to Brazil or whatever. And, costs us a fortune just to send one demo and stuff. But nowadays you have all this, access to all these talking channels or Facebook and MySpace and all this. So you have kind of way more easier way of kind of communicating with the audience, the fans, and doing, of course, promotion and stuff like that. So it's definitely a good thing, but it's I may be a little bit of an old bastard, but sometimes I kind of miss the old days as well because when at that time you really had to work a lot to get somewhere. There was no chance you can just release a demo and by luck you got signed to a record deal. You really had to build your own network. You really had to yeah, meet people at festivals and little bit different kind of work, almost like a lifestyle. But nowadays, I mean, everybody that has a computer basically can make some music and
Mm.
become a star eventually if they do the right thing and stuff. So, it's both ways, I guess. But at the end of the day, of course, it's way easier. I mean, just sending emails to companies and calling to you on Skype phone, for example, and stuff. It's brilliant and makes all the work way more easier for a band, of course.
Because back in the day, if you would have done this call, it would have cost somebody some money to do this type of interview on a
Oh yeah,
long
I
distance.
remember back in I remember back in I didn't have any landline and stuff. I remember once when we did promotion for one of our previous albums back in the late '90s or something, and I actually called for my mobile phone. I remember I got the bill. I was crazy. That was like 1 month's salary or something like that. But of course, Century Media paid it though. But anyway, it was crazy. Nowadays, you can basically just call for free to anybody. So it's of course it's a big positive thing, definitely.
Now let's go back on this album, this new album. What are you endorsing? Like, what type of equipment you're playing on this?
Well, we are actually endorsed by Gibson guitars, so we always, well, actually have always used Gibson guitars on all our records and every time we have done any live shows and stuff. So we are a typical Gibson band, and I'm basically using my Gibson Studio Light, which I have three guitars now, and for this model, and I just love it. That's my guitar. That's my babe, so to speak. And Jens, the second guitarist, basically used also Gibson. He used a little bit different Gibson. Yeah, I don't remember. Firefly, I think, and stuff. So we use Gibson, and we also have endorsement with the German company Angle, which make, I think, one of probably, to my point of view, the best amplifiers and in the world. It just sounds so amazing, so crispy and stuff like that. So that's what we basically use. There is nothing between. There is no just the guitar line, guitar chord. We don't use any pedals and stuff like that. So it's a real thing. And then we have, Simon, the bass player, is endorsed by BC Rich, yeah, and yeah. So we pretty much have. Also, we are actually endorsed by Steinberg, but that's more like on the production side of things. So they help us out with equipment to the studios and stuff like that. So it's very kind of fortunate. I mean, it's great for us to be in a situation where we actually get very cheap or free guitars and equipment and stuff like that. It makes things way easier, of course. So it's just great. And of course, the deal with Gibson is just fantastic. I mean, I've always been a big fan of Gibson guitars since I was a small kid. So to actually be endorsed by a company and a brand like that is amazing.
Yes, it is a major accomplishment, to be endorsed by some sort of a company like Gibson. And let's say for your the album itself, the recording process, would you say it's as easy nowadays, or is it getting easier to record in the studio with the technology?
Oh yeah, I mean it's so different. I mean it's almost like talking about two different galaxies, really. I mean, in the old days when we used this analog tape trackers and stuff like that. I mean, you had its charm definitely and all that stuff, but we spent so much more time on just rewinding the tapes and getting them to sync and stuff like that. So nowadays it's much more focused work, and of course. I have my own home studio and I got some equipment from Steinberg, and that kind of equals professional studio equipment. So I can do all my recordings at home, and I can do edits, and I can, I know 10 years ago we had to pay a shitload of money just to be for 2 weeks in a studio somewhere. And today I can basically do the same thing at my home for basically no money. So that's it's brilliant. It's making it so much more easier because I can spend my time on music and not spending my time on traveling or staying in a foreign hotel or whatever. And yeah, be in a studio with time limits and things like that. So it's enables us to work and focus and use all our energy on music in a much further extent than before. And of course, also that also means that we as a musician also kind of evolve. We don't on these new records, for example, I don't just see myself as a musician. I also see myself as a producer because writing the songs and all that stuff is kind of routine for me now. I mean, it's not a routine in the sense that it's boring, but it's like I have my way of doing the songs, writing songs. I have my way of working with material and stuff like that. But this and also the fact that I have all the equipment now I need for professional recording makes me much more involved as also just sitting around in my studio trying out new ideas and trying different sounds and trying all the possibilities. So it makes at least that's my really big experience on this album. It's like almost like a breakthrough. I mean, this time we did everything ourselves. We did edit everything, all the files, everything is done more ourselves, and it feels kind of. We have a firm grip on the music, and it's like we can follow the music to the doorstep kind of thing. Mm-hmm. We are not depending on one engineer or somewhere in one studio that we don't really know, and we don't depend on the equipment that is available in the studio. We can basically just do everything ourselves, sit in our own studios and do work with the music till we kind of feel okay, this is it, how it should be. So it's a different. Like before, I was just a guitarist and made some music, and we were we were in studio recording albums. Now I'm kind of, yeah, I'm a musician and play guitar, but I also, take care of a lot of the recordings and studio work and stuff like that. And it feels good because it's, as I said before, it feels like I can. I'm some sort. I can come closer to the fans somehow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the distance between me and the fans, or us as a band and the fans, is shorter because what they actually hear now is actually what we do, and we have done it by ourselves. So it's very kind of authentic and ethereal in some sense, and that feels good, really good.
Now, one final thing here: touring. Are we going to be seeing some tours anytime soon?
Well, I would like to say yes, but I'm not sure at this point. We are kind of everybody in the band is like in mid-30s, and we have kids, and some of us have babies and stuff. So it's a hard nut to crack, but we're definitely going to try something, and we're hopefully going to play something in the US and South America maybe at some point, and in Europe. I mean, we get the offers all the time, but just now these days a little bit tricky. But we'll see what we can make out of it, so to speak.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time in this interview, and look forward to promoting it.
Thanks, you man, and thanks for the support and everything, and have a great day.
You as well.